I'm here this morning to kind of give an update on our deputy being shot a couple nights ago. We want to go ahead and identify the deputy. It's Corporal Terrence Crawford. That's his picture there. He's been with us since 2014. He's a school resource officer. This shooting had nothing to do with his position at the Richland County Sheriff's Department. I want to make that clear that even though his marked police car was parked in front of his yard, he was not the target that the shooters were after, but he was still shot. His fiancée was also shot. They were both shot in the lower parts of their leg. They've both been released from the hospital, and they both will fully recover. This happened about 11:30ish the other night, Sunday night. There were 8 people inside the residence. 8. 2 were shot, including my deputy. We're looking for at least 3 subjects that were involved in it. What makes this scary, and they're all scary, is that how people, the shooters just don't care. This is gang related. We know for a fact that it is gang related, so we're fully investigating it. This is the 96th drive-by or walk-up shooting that we've had in Richland County so far this year. 96 times we've had someone that shot into a house. 96 times. It's sad to think the mentality that we've got that's going on with some of these people out here with guns. And these gangs talk about how they're big and bad and how tough they are. How tough does it take to sneak around in the cover of darkness and sneak up to some house and then just start shooting into it and then run away like a little kid and hide? How brave is that? To me, that's nothing but a bunch of cowards that are out here sneaking around doing things like this, sneaking up to somebody's house or driving by somebody's house on the cover of darkness and just start shooting into it. How big and bad does that make you? In my opinion, it doesn't. I think in the opinion of most people, it doesn't. That just shows just what cowards these gangs are and what they are out here doing. Our deputy was shot. His marked police car was parked in front of the house. There's no doubt they knew that was a law enforcement, a Richland County deputy that was living in that house. There was no doubt in their mind that he could have been one that was shot, and he was shot, even though he may have not been who they were shooting at and their supposedly target. And I'm not going to identify the target. But what kind of mindset is that? That if you're one to do a drive-by, walk-by, like a coward shooting someone's house, but knowing that a police officer or deputy sheriff lives there. The message to the gangs, you're fixing to find out who's big and bad in Richland County. And you're fixing to find out it ain't you. You're fixing to find out the full weight of the Richland County Sheriff's Department and law enforcement in the Midlands. Not just because my deputy got shot, but enough is enough. 96 times this year that somebody's done something like this. It's time for this community to stand up and put a stop to it, and I think it starts now. So, again, our deputy's okay, his fiancee's okay. The trauma that they suffered psychologically is probably a lot more worse than what they did physically. Knowing that the security of your home, that something like this would happen. But then you look at where these bullets go. When these bullets start flying, they go through walls. They go into other houses. They go into people's cars. All the innocent people that are subjected to this violence because these gangs are big and bad, and we're going to show you what we can do. We're fixing to show you what we can do. So just get ready for it. It's coming. Questions?
Sheriff, was there gunfire exchange, or was it just on one party?
We're still working on that, trying to determine exactly what was going on. We had lots of rounds that were fired, so our deputy did not fire back. I'll put it that way.
And confirmation the deputy and his wife were outside when this happened?
They were inside the house. They were inside the house when the shooting happened. That's where they were at when they were shot. They were initially out on the porch, and they saw something that was suspicious, and which caused them to go inside. And shortly after that's when the gunfire started.
There were rumors among community members about these individuals who were shooting, break-ins to cars. Can you confirm any of that?
No, there was no break-in to cars. It's complete separate. You know, if there were any break-ins in that neighborhood, it had nothing to do with this shooting. This was a targeted shooting. This is something that they went there to do. So break-ins didn't have nothing to do with it.
I know you can't divulge a target, but perhaps a motive?
No, not at this time. It's just stupid gang stuff, where gangs think they're tough and they're bad, and they sneak around like a bunch of little cowards, during the darkness, and then sneak off like a snake at night and try to get away. You ain't getting away. You're not getting away.
Both Mr. Crawford and his fiancée are back home?
Yeah, they're back home. Both of them set to be fully recovered. He should be back to work soon, be back in the schools where he deserves to be. But I don't want anyone to believe that him being shot had anything to do with his work. He wasn't targeted because he's a Richland County deputy. It wasn't an ambush. It wasn't anything like that whatsoever. It didn't have anything to do with his position here as a deputy. But he is a deputy, and he had a marked car parked in front of his house. So there's no question that who he was and where he lived at.
And do we know why the gang members shot at the deputy and his fiancée?
They shot into a house. They didn't shoot targeting them. They just shot into a house. And that's what's scary about these shootings into homes, is they don't care who's in that house. This hasn't been that many years ago. We had a little child that was killed that was sitting there playing a game, and some gang members shot into a house and killed a little boy. They don't care. That's the mentality, and that's what's scary about it. They don't care who's in that house. And we've had innocent people. We had a man was in his bed sleeping, and somebody did a drive-by, and we made an arrest on that, made a drive-by, and the man's in his bed sleeping, and he gets killed. They don't care. They don't care. Well, we do care. We care. And that's why we're going to do everything we can to put a stop to it. We're going to put those in jail that's responsible for this, and we're going to do all we can to hold them accountable and make sure that they get what they deserve. We're going to do our part. I just hope the rest of the criminal justice system does their part, because they sure need to be held accountable for it.
Did they think somebody else was in the house, or they just picked it random?
No, it wasn't random. It wasn't random. This was not just shooting into a house just to be shooting into a house. And they were not shooting in the house just because the deputy lived there. There was a reason for that, and I'm not going to go into that. We'll discuss that after we put them in jail, and then I'll release some more of that information. Right now, the main thing today is to, one, identify our deputy, so everybody will know who it is, that he was not the target. His job didn't have anything to do with him being shot, and that him and his fiancée are going to be okay. They're going to survive. They'll be okay.
Just wanted to know, were they having like a get-together or something? You said there were 8 people there, or do 8 people?
Family. It was family gathering.
Okay.
There were family members there, and just a family getting together on a Sunday night.
Okay, and so just to clarify, the shooters were actually randomly shooting into the house that the deputy lived in, his house, so not another house.
No, they were shooting into the house where the deputy lived.
Okay.
That's what they were doing.
While you're not releasing the target, do you have an idea of who the suspects are, or are you looking for these people?
We're working on it. We're fully investigating it. We've got our people working on it. So hopefully in the next couple of days you'll have me standing back up here again, and we'll be talking a little bit more about who's in jail for this shooting.
Were there any children in the house?
There were young people involved too. Again, they don't care what age of the people that are there. It's hard for someone that's responsible and I guess got common sense to think how someone could just shoot into a house and not care who's in there and who gets hit and who they shoot. You know, again, I'm gonna go back to the little boy a few years ago that was shot watching TV, playing a game. You know, what did he have to do with it? Just like our deputy, what do they have to do with it? How does that make a gang, give them a reputation of being tough? That just shows how weak they are and again, what cowards they are. So, all right, thank y'all.